So I want to touch, you mentioned something, human element of the brand. How does that work? Let's say for a tech brand, how do founders think about this human element?
So, the other thing about branding, I was coming to that is the new generation of consumers is kind of different from the older generations. Okay. They don't believe in brands so much. Okay. It's, the shelf life of a brand has reduced greatly. Okay. So you complimented on my shoes. Okay. These are duplicates. And 20 years back, when you wore a duplicate, people would say, oh, ye to fake hai. So you would come down a little bit socially. Mine is a real thing, yours is a fake. Now that barrier is breaking because people, and you must have seen a lot of things. China made this sells for, they make
Right.
it for $10 and he's selling it for $500.
Correct.
What is the use? I'll get the same thing somewhere else. So, and on Instagram, people are very quick to jump onto something and very quick to delete something out of their lives. It's like apps. You must have, I'm sure 95% of the apps, 98% are deleted in the next 72 hours after downloading. Okay. So we live in that world. So a brand has to try extra harder to stay top of mind. Okay. And the only way to do that, especially for tech-enabled brands, and these days most brands are tech-enabled. I mean, the classic thing is not so much there, is to be of great utility. That must be very clear. I mean, if you're building a product, you have to, before getting into narrative or storytelling, which is what I was saying, you have to kind of make it as seamless, and you have to solve a problem, a real problem. Okay. So you have to invest time in those things. What is the problem that my brand is solving? Instead of, 30 years back, is my brand making me look good or, whatever. Abhi, the starting point is, what is the problem? What is the consumer problem that my brand has solved? So that's the starting point of brand building. And product also, of course.
Right, right. And about the human element, how do we bring that in? Let's say once you have identified a problem, you start building some awareness. Then how do you think about the human element? Because that is important.
Human element is the same. Wherever you go, whatever the product, love, envy, fear, hate, wanting to belong to something. This is, has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Nothing has changed. So you have to figure out, your brand by solving a problem. How does it make someone's life better? Solving a problem is making my life better, whether it's B2B or D2C or whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Right.
So how does it make my life better? Life is hard. It's not an easy life. No matter whether you're a rich man or a poor man, life is very hard.
Okay? Right.
So, what is this? What is it about this brand? It could be a phone or a shampoo or whatever. It doesn't matter. That makes my life, makes me feel a little happy, makes things a little smoother, or, removes roadblocks in my personal journey. Something like that we have to figure out. And then build stories, narratives around that.
Right. And something which you mentioned, community building, is so important. Because a lot of time when younger D2C brands are selling on aggregator platform, a lot of commissions they pay. If they are able to build community, they can actually bring that margin to a better level, right? Because they don't have to pay that commission. And that's something when people are writing off D2C brands, I'm always looking, are they doing something to have control over distribution, having their own community, where they're communicating directly with the consumer versus going through Amazon or any other aggregator platform, because that doesn't give you any, that take rate is already 25-30% is already gone, right? But if you're able to build that community, then you have that, you can retain that 30% with you.
It depends on the product, the category, the audience. A community does not mean a captive community. That they are just sitting there waiting for information from you. Okay. It's a community which is looking for something and you are solving it, like the Royal Enfield community. It is not about the Royal Enfield bike at all. It's about travel. Okay. So similarly, if you are doing something about I mean, that's why these brands get into fashion, into golf, I mean, a BMW sponsoring a, golf kind of thing. What has
Right.
BMW got to do with golf?
Right.
It's about the community, building a community. And yes, that community of golf players, very high chance of buying a BMW or whatever, some other car. So it doesn't have to always be a hard kind of thing. I mean, if it's a tech product, yes, I mean, there's an Apple community which talks about, latest apps and stuff like that.
Right.
So it depends on what your product is, really. I mean, food, for example. Okay. So suppose you're a masala powder. That's fine, But then you can't talk about your masala powder and its offers. You have to talk about food. You have to sponsor MasterChef or whatever, something like that. So then you build a community of people who are interested in cooking, in foodies, eating, etc. And of course, it's hosted by you, right? So your benefit of using your product is there. I'm just giving an example. This is very difficult for a lot of brands to it needs a lot of investment in thinking. I'm manufacturing a pen, and it's a pen. It's a nice pen, and pen or mouse actually is more relevant. Okay, but how do I build a mouse community? You can't, right? But people who use mouse, what other touch points are there? It could be sports. I don't know. It doesn't have to be, the mouse using a mouse experience.
Right.
Right. We have to figure out. It could be something a lot of brands are doing, getting into some social area, like helping society, etc. That sort of thing. It could be that also. It needs a lot of thinking, a lot of investment in thinking. It's not simple, and initially the journey for the first year or 2 years is not easy. I think out of 10 things that you do, 7 will fail, and most startup founders don't like the word failure. They take it very personally. I can understand, but when you're building a brand, you have to not jump in and do big things, but try small incremental things. And most importantly, in building a brand is listening. You can't sit in a room and build a brand. You have to go out to the market, listen to people's problems, how your product or service is solving those problems. Your core research will come from there, and then you start putting things together.
So spending time with users, building personas, getting to know real pain points.
Absolutely. Building personas, spending time with, could be a dealer network or whatever it is very, very important.
So yeah, that's important, being on the ground. So I recommend something similar to founders, is that probably speak to your first 100 users directly. Don't rely on your team. Take those calls, whether you are B2B SaaS or whether you are D2C brand, and see how they're interacting. Take notes. And now we have all these tools like ChatGPT, etc. We can put all the notes and get some green, signals from there. But it's very important as a founder that you directly speak to first few hundred customers.
Yes, always. Yeah, I mean, keep on doing it. I mean, I know some founders who speak with, say, whatever, 10 customers a day. Product is successful, but they keep doing it even after 5, 6, 7 years. So that must be there. And I know a lot of people who will not speak with the customers. In fact, I was in a conversation early this morning. I was asking someone, do you, pick up the phone and talk to your consumers, customers? And he was saying, no, we have a, section on our website. If anyone has a question, query, they can write to us, and we respond immediately. But that's not it, no. You have to go and sit with your consumer and, start a conversation and figure out, is your product helping or not helping?
Right.
So, you have to invest time.
Yeah. And some of those signals you would otherwise miss if you're not speaking to the customer.
Yeah.
Right. Andy Grove has this great book of Only the Paranoid Survive.
Yes.
Right. So that is mostly about this, how to be obsessed.
Yeah.
And as the organization grows bigger, then you have these different layers, but you still need to speak to the
Yeah,
customer.
also, this customer thing, which is why brand building is not, it's not a brand department, like we used to do 20
Right.
years back. And all.
Right.
It's not a department. The responsibility for building a brand is across everything, especially product. I mean, Google ratings, for example, App Store, is so important because before downloading something, people look at the ratings. So if you got a 2 or 3, no chance. Nobody's going to download you, right? So now, what are ratings a direct function of? Ratings are a direct function of your product experience. So if your product experience is bad, someone did not get the delivery or something on time or something, some log out ho gaya, etc., they're going to leave a very bad review. So product must also be involved in brand building very closely, which is why, I tell my friends, get rid of the MBA, brand building manager, whatever from IIM, get a data analyst with 1 year's experience who can go over the, whatever SaaS product you're using, the Excel sheets, and tell you, acha, ye aise trend aa raha, So you kind of map what is happening and then you kind of act on it. That person is very important, your data analyst.